A very good evening and welcome to UBC News tonight on this 22nd day of February 2023. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at some of the stories making headlines this evening. Now, sex-related offences rise as theft takes a poll station. We also do have Christians flock churches to attend Ash Wednesday Mass. Ikaramoja's MPs kickstart process to censure Minister Mary Goretti Chitutu, and then we have Seed 1 Brian Kasirye shocked out of Badminton Championship in his first game. Now, in our first story this evening, police has launched the 2022 crime report reflecting an increase in theft across the country. Now, the increase in crime is attributed to the reopening of the economy. North Kyoga registered more crime rate compared to other areas. Abdul Nasir Ruwama reports.
So I now launch the annual crime report for the year 2022. Thank you very much.
The 2022 crime report launched at Nagulu Police Headquarters has revealed that 231,653 cases were registered by police from 196,081 registered in 2021, representing an increase of 18%.
For us, each one may have his interpretation, but this was a sign of confidence. But we saw that there are so many citizens and other residents who are willing to walk to a station and report crimes.
The rise in crime rate is attributed to the lifting of the COVID-19 lockdown. In the report, 61,501 theft cases were registered in 2022, compared to 43,583 cases in 2021. Economic and corruption crimes increased to 13,202 in 2022 from 11,023 in 2021. Escape from lawful custody in 2022 increased to 988 cases from 751 in 2021. Child-related offences were 13,489 from the 8,681 in 2021. 32,041 cases of assaults in 2022 were registered, and 2021 were 29,317. Breakings registered also increased to 13,826 cases from 10,148 in 2021. 561 cases of land-related cases registered in 2022, while 332 cases were registered in 2021, constituting to 69% increase. The report reveals that police managed to curb cases of terrorism, which reduced from 21 cases in 2021 to 15 cases in 2022. Political and media offences reduced to 140 cases in 2022 from the 797 in 2021. Defilement, sex-related offences, arson, threatening violence also reduced in 2022.
Our focus has been on improving the quality of services we offer to the public in terms of enhanced law and order, engagement of communities through community policing programs, capacity building, and developing the initial phase of digitalizing our processes for purposes of easing detection, reporting, tracking, supervision, and analysis of crime threats.
Police wants more financial support from government and non-state actors to address operational gaps. Abdul Nasir Ruwama and Ivan Kahwa for UBC News.
Christians have been urged to strengthen their faith and do charity during the Lent season. The Assistant Parish Priest, Christ the King Church, Kampala, Reverend Father Remigius Seruga, emphasizes that the role of the Lent period is one that gives Christians a chance to renew their relationship with God.
Christians flocked to different churches across the country to attend Ash Wednesday that marks the Lent period. At Christ the King, Kampala, many are seen praying from the roadside. Repentance and charity are core values of the Lent period, with Christians asked to strengthen their faith.
Stick to those core values of our faith. And where we need to effect change, that must be done here and now.
We seek renewal because we know God is merciful to those who repent.
During the 40 days of fasting, Christians emulate Jesus Christ, who spent 40 days in the wilderness, and pray for his intervention as they take on the task.
Pray for God's grace, that we are governed by the same Spirit of God throughout this period of time, so that we can do and serve the will of the Father, following Christ, our role model, who served the will of the Father to the end.
Some Christians told UBC how prepared they are for the season.
I have to go for confessions to prepare myself spiritually. And also, about the Lenten season, we have to mend our ways.
To avoid the alcohol, forgive one and each other, be kind to people, respect one and each other, and especially you should be faithful to your religion and to God.
Marian Womcha, UBC News.
Now, in our first headlining story this evening, President Museveni has commissioned Uzima Water Factory with a fully automated water filling line in Kachiri, Wakiso. The company has been engaging in production for 7 years now. Uzima Water is a subsidiary for the National Enterprise Committee under UPDF. The modern plant can produce water to match the demand of UPDF and the general public. The President has pledged support to the construction of access of roads. We have more in this report.
Then the existing filling line was of a small capacity of 3,000 bottles per hour, of 500 ml bottle, which translates into 2,000 cartons per day and 48,000 cartons per month, of 24 working days in a month. Your Excellency, this capacity could not match the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs UPDF market as well as the general market. I therefore take this opportunity to thank the NEC leadership for accepting this noble idea and for support in making it honored by the NEC Uzima Limited sub-board and eventually by the NEC board.
So this capital is not an issue. Really the problem was not capital, the problem was reliability of the group. Now that you seem to have recovered, definitely we are going to, I'm going to take more interest and we shall cover all these MHNO, which are all over the place. Now, the strategy of lowering the costs of doing business, that's very good. Lowering the costs by making you want to make your own bottles or something like that. Very good. Those are all very good plans. Tarmacking the access road, that's very good. Because we don't want dust to go into people's juice or water. So if Sempija can go and liaise with the Ministry of Works, the easy way to do it is to discover when there is a big road works going on in the neighborhood, a company doing some road work on the bigger roads. Like I hear they want to reconstruct Matuga, Semuto Kapeka Road. Like if somebody gets a contract there, we can now approach him and tell him that, please, when you finish here, add this one also, because the equipment will be near. In that way, we can be able to minimize and even tarmac these main roads of the barracks, but also add this one here. So I leave this to Honorable Sempiga to follow up and then brief me, and then we can see how to maneuver. On the issue of the land title, I think General Mugume has answered that. He has said that that's not a big issue. Now, finally, on the issue of the electric line, that's very crucial. That's very crucial. I'm going to take it up because we have been struggling with the Kapeka Industrial Park. We managed to get them a direct line from Kawanda there all the way to Kapeka. I think the problem is that you are alone. You are one factory here. But if we can get more land and gradually develop to, like that mcheno of animal feeds, this is something that we can support them and they finish it, produce all the animal feeds for pigs, for hen, for poultry, for even cows, because the raw material is there, but it is not fully used. So then water, but how about the fruits? You people, you come from, you go through Ruero. You see how many pineapples on the roadside. They are always piled up there in Wobblands, because I encourage those people to grow fruits. Now they grow fruit there so much they have nowhere to put them. In Wobblands, in the other Kasimoro market after Ruero, you see a huge mountain of now nobody is. So they see emicheno is so many. Yukchenura, see the Munyankole say emicheno, yukchenura. When you solve it, you have removed the. So with this emicheno, the sky really is the limit. I congratulate you for putting blood transfusion into NEC.
Poverty, corruption, and irresponsible parenting have been cited as the leading factors to prevailing global immorality. While addressing journalists at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, the Assistant Bishop of Kampala Diocese, Right Reverend Dr. Hanningston Mutebi, called upon all stakeholders to be responsible enough to protect the next generation from this vice.
Christians all over the world are commemorating Ash Wednesday, which makes the genesis of the Lent period. As one of its doctrines, Church of Uganda is spearheaded in preaching the gospel, especially about good morals during the Lent season.
This is a call-up call that we begin to look into this. Let us not relax, because the Satan himself is not resting. So he's working day and night, and we shouldn't hang our boots and say everything is okay, especially for us, for you parents. When you raise school fees and take the child to school and say, okay, I surrender everything. And even visiting schools, especially we fathers, men, it is only the mothers who will go to boarding school on a visitation day to see the child.
The Assistant Bishop of Kampala Diocese, Right Reverend Dr. Hanningston Mutebi, on the behalf of Archbishop Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, used this avenue to condemn the growing sexual immorality.
Some teachers and educationists have become gates of the enemy, being alert in prayer and action during this Lent season. So let us get united against the evil in our schools. The enemy is not as strong as it sounds.
Bishop Mutebi reiterated the need for parents to take full charge of their children's upbringing, especially the school-going children.
It's not going to happen only during this season of Lent, but it's our obligation, especially as parents. Sometimes when parents send children to school, They say it's the responsibility of teachers. But it's not the teachers' responsibility. It is a call to all of us to work together, the teachers, parents, and the nation. And you see, I think the parents have the biggest obligation to see that their children are brought up in the right way.
In this cause, Church of Uganda called upon the general public to back them in the refusal of the growing sexual immorality in the country.
To call upon all of us to raise alarm and shout loud against this sin. And we even have formed a group of private schools those are owned by members of our church. We want to see that even we send chaplains to such schools if doors are open for us to do that.
Deborah Namamonde, Suzanne Nabugudde, UBC News.
A team of 7 members of parliament hailing from Karamoja region have teamed up to introduce a censure motion against Minister of State for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Goretti Chitutu. These MPs cite particulars of diverting iron sheets and other supplies meant for supporting the ongoing disarmament exercise in Karamoja. The clerk to parliament has received the notice of censure motion, which now awaits signatories of at least 2/3 of the members of the 11th Parliament.
The censure language returns to Parliament few months after the August House unanimously voted to remove Minister of State for Lands, Persis Namuganza, Princess. Despite the loud silence after Parliament's position to discharge the Bukono County Member of Parliament from her ministerial position, MPs hailing from Karamoja have teamed up against the Minister of State for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Goretti Chitutu, demanding that she joins the censure board.
Because you don't defend somebody who is stealing.
A team of 7 MPs, including Napakuman MP Faith Nakut, Bukora East MP Lochap Peter Ken, MP Chekwi County Alepa Moses, among others, have penned down their signature on a notice of motion to censure Minister Mary Goretti Chitutu on allegations of abuse of office following the recent media reports that Minister Chitutu failed to deliver iron sheets and other supplies meant for Karamoja to support the ongoing disarmament exercise.
Last week, we also wrote to the President of Uganda asking him to deploy her elsewhere. And the response has not yet happened. So let's allow the process to take its course.
You just imagine resources that would have actually made amends of such a situation are in the hands of an individual. And worse, a mother selling items that are supposed to be able to make children of other mothers to survive.
The MPs include on their notice of motion of censure that the alleged supplies were financed through a supplementary budget that Parliament passed in December 2021.
A supplementary budget of 39 billion is passed in December, and the iron sheets are available in June. Is it a coincidence that these iron sheets are from other ministries? That should be the question you should ask yourself.
Resignation was actually first call for the minister, knowing that, actually apology first, then resignation, but she's not taking any of those. So the best is to get her out of that office, then to allow investigation to take place. Because then if someone is still in office, then investigation cannot be done appropriately.
Over the weeks, reports about the diverted iron sheets and other supplies have repeatedly surfaced on various media, despite the Office of the Prime Minister initiating investigations into the vice. Whereas the MPs from Karamoja cite only the Minister of State for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Goretti Chitutu, similar reports have cited more top government officials' involvement in the scandal, which has since been left in a hide-and-seek situation.
Is a cabinet minister, full cabinet, senior. She is in charge of the ministry. She is the custodian of all resources that Parliament appropriates to the Ministry for Karamoja Affairs. And so it is not possible to hold everyone else she chose to give a bonanza hold accountable. We hold the one with the duty to take care of the resources of Karamoja. We hold her accountable.
If the motion penetrates through the House, the MPs will require a minimum of 2/3 of signatories in order to advance the censure process against Minister Chitutu. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
South Africa will host Uganda for a trade, tourism and investment summit in Pretoria in a bid to strengthen bilateral trade relations between the two countries. The event, which shall be presided over by the two heads of state from both countries, provides an opportunity for Uganda business community to not only showcase their products in South Africa, but also attract direct investments to Uganda.
The Uganda-South Africa Trade, Tourism and Investment Summit 2023 will be held from 27th February to 1st March 2023 in Pretoria, South Africa. The Chairperson Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, Audrey Kruabogo, notes that the summit will provide a platform for the private sector, government and business regulatory agencies to freely exchange views and information on how to facilitate investment and strengthen bilateral cooperation in trade and investment between Uganda and South Africa.
This summit, my hope is that the buyer-seller sessions, the appointment of trade reps, the market studies will increase Ugandan sales, exports into South Africa.
I therefore call upon all of us here today to ensure that we play our critical role in deepening economic and commercial ties between Uganda and South Africa.
Stakeholders have urged the Uganda business community to leverage the existing cordial relations between the two countries and showcase their products to potential investors in South Africa.
It doesn't matter how much you produce, but if you don't have standards that comply with global trading standards, you suffer a lot. It's a short span, but it helps if they are exporters of fruits and vegetables with a standard that can now get this into the market and get these things done.
Now that's a tangible way to actually support businesses, especially SMEs, to be able to understand what standards are required, what are the trade regulations or tax regimes that they have to comply with. That's very tangible.
Uganda's exports to South Africa between 2017 and 2022 was 256 billion shillings, while South Africa exported to Uganda goods worth 14 trillion shillings.
We expect investment to cover that gap. So how can we close it, ensure that we send finished products to South Africa, export finished products there, get investors from South Africa that support us in the value addition here so that we can close that gap. So if I had a target, one is to ensure that the investment first and foremost makes that trade deficit equitable.
The event will be the first trade, tourism and investment summit between Uganda and South Africa and will be presided over by the heads of state of Uganda and South Africa. Sadam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
UBC News. Now, members of Parliament on health committees from over 16 African countries are meeting in Kampala to discuss a number of issues in regard to improving health systems in Africa. High on the agenda is how African countries can achieve universal health coverage and sustainable development goals. We have more in this report.
The 14th Network of African Parliamentary Committees of Health two-day meeting has opened in Kampala for policymakers to discuss health-related challenges facing African countries. The meeting, running on the theme, Building the Capacity of African Policymakers for Achieving Universal Health Coverage and Sustainable Development Goals, the role of parliamentarians, has attracted participation of over 16 African countries. Minister for Health Uganda, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, represented the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, and stressed the need for Africa to focus on manufacturing of health supplies.
We must focus on manufacturing our own commodities, pharmaceutical commodities, and stop this attitude of begging or waiting for donations. That is not Africa.
Minister for Information and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomsi, implored African governments to effectively implement international and national commitments to improve health service delivery among African countries.
We definitely needed to allocate more resources to health and health care. And there have been discussions before where even our leaders agreed to raise the percentage to 15% to be allocated to health. It could even be more than that. And I think time is now for us not to over-rely on borrowing and getting resources from outside, but we use our own domestic budgets, our own internally generated resources to invest them in health so that we can improve the quality of life of our own people.
The program officer at Partners in Population and Development Africa Regional Office, Dr. Patrick Muchira, hinted on the issue of this high-level meeting coming up with a Kampala call to action.
The theme for this meeting is universal coverage and sustainable development goals. So the Kampala call to action will be a blueprint to guide implementation of some of the key actions towards accelerated achievement of VHC and SDGs. Looking at the role of parliamentarians.
This meeting has come at a time when there is consensus that African countries face similar health challenges, and therefore there is need for combined efforts in finding solutions. Diana Kuti, UBC.
Now, the chairperson, Electoral Commission of Uganda, Justice Simon Byabakama, has warned that no form of violence and misconduct will be condoned during the Thursday, 23rd February 2023 voting process for Serere County parliamentary by-elections. Byabakama has been conducting the last stakeholder engagement with all concerned parties in Serere district ahead of the Thursday voting.
74,394 voters will be walking to different polling stations as early as 7 a.m. on Thursday, 23rd February 2023 in Serere County to cast the vote of directly elected Member of Parliament.
If the opposition say, like they want to say, that the army should go away, police should go away, then they want to mess up election. And therefore, either they don't have election.
And for this case, voters are urged to keep time in as far as this exercise is concerned.
We want to urge all the candidates and your agents not to campaign is ended, please, but to urge your voters to come up early so that by 7, polling can commence at all the polling stations.
For the candidates, the Commission is also guiding as follows.
We want to discourage this phenomenon of vote protectors. That is not anywhere in our electoral laws.
Justice Simon Byabakama notes that in this by-election, only registered and eligible voters will be allowed to cast their vote.
Ensure that only eligible persons are allowed to vote during the by-election and only at the polling station where they are registered as voters.
Accordingly, all polling materials will be delivered in the early morning of Thursday, 23rd February 2023.
Designated candidates agents are advised to report to the sub-county offices before 6 a.m. tomorrow to observe the dispatch of these cases.
The Commission also maintains that only accredited observers will be allowed to monitor the voting process.
Participating political parties have been permitted to deploy not more than 5 observers per sub-county.
Other do's and don'ts includes the following.
Playing of music in support of candidate X or Y. All those things ended. Selling alcohol within 100 meters of the polling station. Please don't. But in this sun, you give people alcohol. In this sun, really. Aren't you sending people to the moon?
The Commission is also heavily preaching against voter bribery in this by-election.
I know I'm told the last day is always tonight. Last hour, Sawa Sembayo. It is do or die. Here are the cartons of soap. Here are the kilos of sugar. Lukumi.
Byabakama ends by encouraging candidates and their supporters to maintain peace.
I wish to warn the electorate that any unlawful conduct will be decisively dealt with. The Electoral Commission calls upon all stakeholders in this electoral process to participate in the above activities in accordance with the guidelines that were issued for these by-elections.
The session was attended by a section of candidates and stakeholders.
We respect visitors, but the visitors that have come are the very persons that claim to be the secretariat who come to threaten our lives.
Campaign has really been good. We have not been violent. People are happy. Even we would meet in the same crowds of the opposition and everybody's happy. And it has been a very successful campaign.
There's no need of someone intimidating NRM in Kateta, NRM in Ichere, NRM in Atira. We shall take them on the way they come. If they come through fire, we shall use more satang, fire with the fire. So I want to call upon voters to know that NRM has protected this country since 1986, ably, and protecting them in Serere is just a dot in the ocean.
This by-election has attracted 5 candidates, and at the end of the day, they are all expecting to bag victory. I'm Robert Onyango for UBC News here in Serere District.
All right, UBC News Tonight continues. Over 5,000 security personnel from police, UPDF and Uganda Prison Service have been deployed in Serere District ahead of the Thursday, 23rd February 2023 parliamentary by-elections happening in the area. According to police, the deployment is only to ensure that peace and sanity prevails during the voting and tallying process. We have more.
Voting in Serere County parliamentary by-election will be happening this Thursday, 23rd February 2023.
As we head to tomorrow's elections, we have put in some measures. For example, we are deploying election constables in all polling stations, and then those who are going to protect the polling stations.
In the wake of this exercise, security in the district has been tightened up.
We have, you can clearly see behind me, we have very many vehicles, and to make sure the foot patrols, because Serere is a big district, you cannot centralize. So we have subdivided them and distributed all these vehicles in different sectors. That means every sector will have its command base, and to make sure quick response time for these emergencies is going to be easier for everyone's sake.
According to police, the deployment ranges from clandestine to physical personnel.
Because each polling station must be protected as is our mandate. In that effort, we have roped in officers of the UPDF and prison service to help in this manner.
This is all aimed at ensuring that the process is a peaceful one.
That is why you see a lot of personnel around. It is not to intimidate and cause fear and alarm, but rather to make sure that everyone gets a right and that's fear to vote peacefully. Because I've heard with dismay and concern when they are saying a lot of security personnel is here to prevent voting. I don't want us to promote propaganda for the sake of propaganda, but we are a constitutional body. We are mandated to keep peace and security.
For the voters are being urged to operate within the prescribes of the electoral laws.
What I can require from the voters, I want them to turn out in big numbers, let them vote, but importantly, by the law that establishes the electoral process, you are not allowed to come in party colors and party activity at the polling station. So those I want people to stop that. Party activity at polling station is strictly prohibited by law. I want them to do that, and then let them follow procedure at those polling stations. Because every polling station has a procedure. How do you enter, how do you vote, and how do you get out? After voting, I want them to go home and wait instead of polling at polling stations.
The position of Serere County Parliamentary Member of Parliament fell vacant late last year, following the sudden death of the office bearer, Patrick Okabe, and now 5 candidates are seeking to replace him. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Serere County is an administrative sub-region in Serere District in the eastern region of Uganda. Population over 160,000 people and 6 sub-counties which are in the same region. Mark Wadulo has a detailed profile of the candidates vying for the parliamentary seat of Serere.
Serere County is an administrative sub-region in Serere District in eastern region of Uganda. With a population of over 160,000 people and 6 sub-counties, which are Atira sub-county, Kateta sub-county, Chere sub-county, Olio sub-county, Serere Town Council, and Ochapa sub-county. In the 2021 general elections, Serere County had a voter turnout of 43,288 people, with the winner being the Lake Patrick Okabe, who got 17,826 votes. The candidates nominated by the Electoral Commission for the 2023 Serere by-election are as follows. Philip Okor from the NRM. He is the NRM flag bearer for Serere County. Based on his LinkedIn profile, he has a diploma in development studies from Gulu University and a professional diploma in marketing from the Chartered Institute of Marketing. He has worked as head of sales at Crown Beverages Limited, territory development manager at Pepsi, and head of distributions and operations at Airtel. Mr. Okor was the NRM party's choice in the 2021 parliamentary race. However, with a vote margin of 5,195, where he garnered 12,631 votes, he lost the race to Patrick Okabe with 17,826 votes, who had been ejected in the party primaries. Emmanuel Eratu from FDC. Mr. Eratu, 45 years, is a son of Eric Okiror and Grace Asano of Achilo Village, Alengo Parish, Atira Sub-County, Serere County. He started his education at Atira Primary School, went to Soroti Central Secondary School, Soroti Senior Secondary School, and later Old Kampala Senior Secondary School. He holds a bachelor's degree in development studies from Makerere University, a diploma in social work and social administration from Nsamizi Training Institute, diploma in religious studies from Maryvale Institute of Religious Sciences in the United Kingdom. He is currently pursuing a master's degree in public health at Makerere University. Mr. Eratu is also a musician and songwriter, a feat that he got from his parents, who are both local songwriters. Alice Alaso from the ANT Party. She was born on January 21st, 1969, in present-day Serere district, and she is a teacher by profession. Ms. Alaso served in the 8th and 9th Parliament under the FDC party before she lost the election to Helen Adoa of the NRM in 2011. Ms. Alaso holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Education from Makerere University. She served as a history teacher in Teso College, Alouette, and St. Mary's, Madeira. She was later recruited as the District Gender Officer for Soroti District under the Post-Recovery Program. In 2018, Ms. Alaso left FDC, where she had served as the Secretary General for 10 years, to join Alliance for National Transformation Party, where she is currently serving as the National Coordinator. Emmanuel Omoding, running as independent. He is the elder son of the late Patrick Okabe. At the time of his father's death, he had been living in Australia. Mr. Omoding was backed to contest by a number of politicians, notable among them the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Thomas Tayebwa. He is riding on his father's popularity among the NRM structures and the locals whose late father touched their hearts. Martin Ongiruko, also running as independent. Mr. Ongiruko was born in 1976 from Chere Sub-County in Serere District. He attended his advanced level at Nabomali High School and ordinary level at Kololo SS. He holds a master's degree in public infrastructure management from Makerere University, a bachelor's degree in civil and building engineering from Chambogo University, and an ordinary diploma in building and civil engineering from Chambogo. He is a member of the Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers. He has held various capacities at the Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA, as Assistant Engineer for UNRA in Soroti and Arua, and served as the Road Inspector for Kotido Station. He has also worked closely with Iteso Cultural Union.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after these messages.
SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
let me just send.
Yes.
Oh.
Accessing your contacts the old way.
Yeah.
Accessing your contacts with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to access your favorite contacts right through the app. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break. And now into more news. Government has set up a master plan aimed at the elimination of neglected tropical diseases by the year 2030. Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, says neglected tropical diseases are at a high prevalence in African countries and yet given less or no attention. This was during the commemorations of the World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day under the theme Act Now, Act Together, Invest in NTDs.
Uganda is battling with 20 neglected tropical diseases which are not given attention, yet they can cause a devastating effect to their body. So far, Ministry of Health has eliminated 3 diseases and are no longer a public health problem.
We have already eliminated the guinea-worm and also sleeping sickness of the Gambian type.
Dr. Henry Mwebesa, the Director General Health Services at the Ministry of Health, says there is need to awaken the public about the dangers of the diseases.
The reason for this day, to make sure that we reawaken everybody
not to neglect these diseases because of their devastating effect. Most of them cause a lot of debilitation to the people. Most of them cause a lot of complications to the people and leave many people living uncomfortable lives.
The Minister for Health, Dr. Jendrotha Cheng, decried the need for more funding to implement the master plan.
I need money. Because if you don't give me money, your populations will continue suffering with elephantiasis, schistosomiasis, podioconiosis. There is no budget line anywhere.
At that time, we hoped that we could support governments to map the burden of NTDs and then scale up treatment for 5 of the most common NTDs out of those 20.
We support the ministry both technically and financially, and so they can implement their program throughout the districts.
Acheng, however, reiterated the need to utilize the resources in communities being affected.
We all agreed when we were ending the year that all our interventions are on the communities. We should be in Kasese, in Kamwenge, in Madiokolo, in Kitgum, speaking to the people, because it is about giving them information.
The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, emphasized the need to amplify the message about neglected tropical diseases and how they are prevented.
Amplify the message that these diseases still exist in our communities, but also we know that they can be prevented. Cysticercosis comes from pig worms, pork. People who like pork, you eat pork that is not well cooked, you eat worms, live worms in the pork, and then they enter your system and they cause terrible, terrible organ damage.
Mary Namkose, Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
BBC News tonight. Now, High Court Criminal Division before Judge Isaac Muwata has sentenced Isaac Senabulia to 40 years in prison after convicting him on his plea of guilt on charges of murdering Maria Najirinya and her driver Ronald Chitayimbwa. After the sentence, Isaac Senabulia, who appeared in court as the state's 9th witness, pinned Kasolo as having masterminded the murder and kidnap of Maria Najirinya and Chitayimbwa.
Judge Isaac Muwata sentenced Isaac Senabulia to 40 years in prison in a ruling delivered today morning.
This is a younger man who was energetic enough to fend for himself as noted by the prosecution through lawful means other than opting to engage in such heinous and unlawful acts. Taking into account all the factors, both mitigating and aggravating, I shall sentence accused number 8 to imprisonment for 40 years on each count.
While sentencing Isaac Senabulia, court was of the view that the convict saved court his time by pleading guilty. Prosecution presented Isaac Senabulia as the 9th witness in this matter. Isaac Senabulia pinned the prime suspect in this matter, Kasolo Koprian, of being the mastermind of kidnap and murder of Maria Najirinya, and her driver Ronald Chitayimbwa from Lunguja.
Kasolo yatandika omukuba ejeki yalage mu motoka ku mutwe zibamusitwa babiri ne bamujja kumpi wali emmotoka ne bamusembezako wali emabbali nenga oba yali akyali mulamu nenga leka takyali mulamu nakoma kumulaba nga ng'omugu monomono gwali Kasolo nga amukuba abula ate bali bamwongeddeeko wala distance n'omukazi we yali.
By mentioning some of the accused he was with during the time of committing the act, Senabulia told court that after kidnapping the deceased, their team led by Kasolo Koprian later murdered Maria Najirinya and Ronald Chitayimbwa around Mukono.
Era bali balagala kimuntu musango ki okutuziza wansi mwagala sente mwagala ki wabula mwami Kasolo Koprian yamuganga gwe kikwasiza tukimanyi wabula emana namubuuza kimu olinawo sente mmeka.
Senabulia added that after the murder, they drove back to Kampala around Makai Road in Natete, where they dumped the deceased's car.
baweta ku kikubo ekyali kya ttaka nga kidda saidi z'erungujja kuba nali mmanyiyo eyo ngaife gye twali emabega olw'abantu abalala abali bakulembedde netusanga emmotoka ku kikomera kuba yali ekuba eŋŋombe nga bagenda kuyingira mangu ddala owekitiibwa omulamuzi Kasolo Kompuliano wamu ne John twasanga bayingidde mu mmotoka eyo kuba boda yaffe yali mabegako ne batuyimiriza.
However, trouble came when they saw news circulating on media about the murder of Maria Nagirinya and Ronald Chitayimbwa. Kasolo Kompuliano, who represents himself during cross-examination, however, refuted Senabulya's evidence.
Njagala obulire kooti wategeezezza nti bwe nafulumya Chitayimbwa Ronald ne mutwane Lubega Johnson gye twamutwala wasigala mu mmotoka. Njagala obulire kooti walaba otya nze Kasolo Kompuliano nga nali nkuba Chitayimbwa Ronald gye nali mututte wammanga ng'ate obudde bwali bwa kiro ng'ate olina mu mmotoka.
Judge Isaac Mwata set 23rd February 2023 to resume with the hearing of the case. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Members of the National Suppliers Forum who engage in government procurement businesses have urged government to intensify its efforts towards the popularization of the new e-government procurement system to ease and ensure a transparent procurement system in the country. This was during the 2023 National Suppliers Forum organized by the Public Procurement and Disposal Authority and Private Sector Foundation Uganda at PPDA House in Nakasero.
Government's introduction of the new e-government procurement system recently, both the general public and some government entities are yet to embrace the new system due to some implementation challenges. Some of the challenges to the new system include the semi-illiteracy levels, attitude change, low internet penetration in the country, among others. This was during the 2023 National Suppliers Forum organized by the Public Procurement and Disposal Authority, PPDA, in partnership with the Private Sector Foundation Uganda.
As you are all aware, the government spends over 60% of the national budget on procurement of goods, services, supplies, and works in MPS and local governments. This translates to approximately 30.6 trillion in this financial year. Therefore, public sector procurement has been crucial for the development of private sector enterprises through provision of enormous business opportunities.
The forum is part of the joint efforts between government and private sector suppliers to enhance transparency and accountability in Uganda's procurement system.
With the district, with no connectivity, with no tools, no computers, with no power, some don't have the power. And that is why the general principle that they will expand this solar system, or the last mile connectivity, and these are the things. So we expand as we learn.
MOU here said we shall partner with you, government, private sector, ensure that people, as much as possible, get those skills and those attributes that make business survive.
The other challenge that will come in from the providers is a number of them are semi-literate. However, that should not be difficult, although for the start it does affect the learning.
Some participants highlighted more challenges and suggested the way forward.
But there are some housekeeping issues we need to sort out before we talk about these other big opportunities. We have a problem of procurement planning.
Currently, only 36 government entities have embraced the new e-government procurement system, with 3 local governments of Jinja, Mpigi and Mukono. I'm Nafka Farida and Juko Collins.
Yes, the gist of the matter.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes,
150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Regulated by UCC.
Welcome back, and now onto the business scene. In an effort to eradicate financial cybercrime and establish a faster remittance system, Post Bank, together with Postal Uganda and Eurogiro, has launched a Postal Pay system that facilitates money transactions with transparency. The system, launched at Mestil Hotel in Kampala, bridges the transaction gap across the globe.
Though using digital platforms to send money across borders is the most efficient and effective, numbers of people have taken advantage of it and used the platforms to commit crimes. It is on that background that Postal Uganda and Post Bank have joined hands with Eurogiro to launch Postal, a platform meant to reduce the rate of financial cybercrime as well as better digital remittance networks across Uganda.
I think for us, we're excited to have this partnership with both Eurogiro, IFAD and Post Office, because as we have seen, remittances are playing a very significant part in the entire GDP of Uganda. We have about a statistic of about $1 billion that have been sent, which is far much exceeds even our biggest cash crop, which is coffee, that has brought in a little bit less, about 800 million. So for us, it's a milestone, first of all, because we have quite a big number of our customers, but also of Ugandans that are in the diaspora, that will be able to send money to their loved ones, but not only send money, but send it at a very minimal cost.
They say the system is simple, cheap, accessible to the common person.
It can be received at any post office branch countrywide. We have over 100 branches countrywide. So the customer can go to the post office branch and receive money without having to travel long distances and pay transport and all that. And of course, the other way is that it is instant. It is safe in a way that it is digital, and it has a high level of security from the sending side, from our partners of Eurogiro. And of course within Uganda, as it comes to the post office, where the customers will be able to receive their money at the postal branches countrywide, it will still be either digital or it can be in cash. As I said earlier on, we have agency banking services and mobile money services at the post office.
The app is reliable and will not be subjected to financial theft, and in case it happens, people will be compensated.
For safety, if someone comes with the wrong token, the system will not accept it. It will reject it. And of course, we prefer the identification of national ID, passport, and refugee IDs. That is what we focus on to ensure that the right people get the right money.
The system can be used by both postal and non-postal customers.
Let me just send.
Yes.
Oh.
Accessing your contacts the old way.
Yeah.
Accessing your contacts with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to access your favorite contacts right through the app. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the world of sports. Uganda's #1 seed, Brian Kasirye, has been knocked out of the Badminton Uganda International Challenge 2023 that started today in Lugogo Indoor Arena. Kasirye, who has just won a bronze medal from the recently concluded All Africa Senior Games, started his campaign at this tournament against India's Aditya Gupta, losing 2 sets to 1 and then ultimately ending his participation in the event. On a brighter side, however, Uganda's Gladys Mbabazi was one of the winners of the day after defeating Egyptian Elgendi Hadia 2 sets to 1. The 5-day event that will climax on the 26th of February 2023 started well on an overall with knockout qualifications for singles men and singles women. Over 300 participants are taking part in the tournament from countries including Mexico, Uganda, England, Malaysia, India, Slovakia, South Africa, Nigeria, Greece, the UAE, Singapore, Brazil, Canada, USA, Australia, Algeria, Egypt, Hungary, and others. Now, the 21st edition of the Uganda Corporate League has been launched and starts over the weekend at Chadodo Rugby Club with football.
Organizers have added several subplots, including a marathon and a new points reward system that considers the sporting and non-sport aspects like discipline.
We are going to have the source of the marathon on the 22nd of April at the source of the Nile in the Jinja. We'll be in the Busoga Kingdom, and one of the things we want to do, this marathon is done to fundraise for a few causes, whether disadvantaged or CSR or some uncompleted projects. For instance, we have discovered a need in the Jinja Referral Hospital of the Cancer Institute that's upgraded and the Heart Institute.
Over the years, the biggest challenge for the Corporate League has been use of mercenaries.
Yes, we've been having a challenge with mercenaries, and this time round, how are we going to handle that? One, we believe everyone who works for a corporate company pays NSSF. We shall use that as our first way of tracking mercenaries. If you don't have NSSF, no. Two, you should be having your national ID. This is going to help us with games of 35 and above. The NIN will help us determine this. And then 3, if at all you really don't have your NSSF, can your HRR back you up? We need clearance from your company HRRs so that you really have fair play.
The teams will compete in football, netball, volleyball, tug of war, swimming, athletics, and basketball.
We have discovered over the years, after playing football as a main game, that there's a need. Basketball is a competitive game. Football probably is a mass market game, which we have done for 21 years. But basketball is a competitive game, really, which is so much into these corporate companies.
Hotel Africana will be the team to beat, but will face opposition from others like Centenary Bank, SCD Darling, Uganda Breweries, and MTN Uganda. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
And with that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Thank you so much for your company this evening. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazumoto. Have a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.